What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, WBA Super Featherweight World Champion, star boxer, lightweight title contender, Lamont Roach Jr., 25 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws, 10 wins by way of knockout. He reacts to the massive breaking news of a guy he thought he was going to have a rematch with, an undefeated 5-time world champion, 3-division world champion, superstar boxer, Gervonta Tank Davis, who is 30 wins, no loss, 1 draw, 28 wins by way of knockout. He drew with Lamont Roach. March 1st in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. And they were supposed to have a highly anticipated rematch. But Gervonta Tank Davis has now announced, he has now announced that he is fighting YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul in his next fight. And Gervonta Tank Davis is looking for Jake Paul to fight him and agree at 175. They had an agreement in place, Lamont Roach and Gervonta Tank Davis, to fight June 21st. That fell through. Tank Davis never signed his portion of the contract. Why? Because Gervonta Tank Davis is trying to get that fight with Jake Paul and Netflix, as he was and announced after the Lamont Roach fight the first time. When asked about the rematch, he stated that he wants the rematch with Lamont Roach, but he don't think it's going to happen next because he already had something lined up, which was Jake Paul. And he was waiting for Jake Paul to announce it. But Jake Paul didn't want to announce a fight with Tank Davis until Tank Davis rematched Lamont Roach because he didn't like the direction it was going in, and Netflix didn't want that, right? But ultimately, Jake Paul tried to fight Olympic gold medalist, heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua, and that fell through. So now Jake Paul said, well, I might as well go ahead and revisit the Tank fight. And now he's revisiting it, and November 14th on a Friday in Atlanta, Georgia, on Netflix, Tank Davis versus Jake Paul. Another roadblock that they're having is that they want the fight to be sanctioned as an official boxing match, but Jake Paul has to make 175 pounds for that to happen. And Tank is in agreement that they could fight at 175, right? But again, it has to happen at 175 for the Boxing Athletic Commission to sanction it, because Jake Paul is too big and he fought at 224 pounds. They won't sanction a 135 pounder to fight a 200 pounder. It's not happening. So with that said, that's the holdup. So Tank Davis is waiting for the Jake Paul fight. That's why he never signed with Lamont Roach. But the PBC, Premier Boxing Champion, they want Tank to rematch Lamont Roach, if anything, because they don't get nothing from Tank Davis fighting Jake Paul on Netflix. So they want to push for that. Tank never signed. Then they were supposed to push the fight back to August 16th. Tank never signed that. And Lamont Roach now comes out and he says, I told you he was ducking and he was scared. Well, in reality, he's not ducking or scared, because he told us after the fight, immediately in the post-fight press conference, that he wanted to fight Lamont Roach in a rematch, but there was other plans that was going to be announced, so it wasn't happening anytime soon. He told us that from the beginning. The problem was that Jake Paul and Netflix pulled away from the fight, and then he revisited the Lamont Roach rematch. But he never was fully on board with that, because that's why he never signed. And they was using the altercation he got into with his children's mother as an alibi. And now Jake Paul said, okay, let's make it happen, and Tank signed. So Lamont Roach, as I said, he should have been moved on with his career. He should have been moved forward and just allowed this to play out how it needed to play out. And now Shakur Stevenson is saying that he'll fight Lamont Roach, but he got his sights set on Teofimo Lopez, and if that falls through, then he'll fight Lamont Roach. Now, the PBC, from what I'm being told, is promising Lamont Roach a fight on the PBC. It's unbelievable. So Lamont Roach is saying that Tank Davis ducked him. In reality, he didn't duck him. Did he really want the rematch wholeheartedly? Maybe, maybe not. The reality is, Jake Paul was always the option after Lamont Roach first fight. The fact is that Lamont Roach upset the apple cart. He exceeded everybody's expectations with his performance against Tank Davis. And what happened was he threw a monkey wrench in the plans. Tank was supposed to knock out Lamont, and then he was going to announce the Jake Paul fight and move forward with his career. That's why Tank was telling the world he was going to retire at the end of 2025. But those plans, Lamont Roach had other plans, and he changed the tide, period. So Lamont Roach is left without an opponent. Let's see how this unfolds and plays out, man. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. It's your boy Blue signing off. I'm gone. Peace.